Since I was a kid my mom, M, has been self-centered first and the parent second. I could easily write a novel's worth of posts here about growing up with her. I developed a severe anxiety disorder very young in large part due to the things she would do and say to me. She is not an evil person. I genuinely believe she did the best she could, but just didn't have the skill set for success. As an adult I feel sad for her, because it must be terrible to be stuck with a brain that works in such negative ways. Thanks to therapy, I have fortunately come a long way since my most anxious younger days. That being said, she is the same old Dem from my childhood, and I think it would help me more to get out my rant here than to scream at her, so here it goes. This happened a couple weeks ago. I'm pregnant with my first child. I have wanted a baby for as long as I can remember, and it took us a long time of trying to finally become pregnant. I won't bother with details, but once it finally happened there were persistent signs of a miscarriage looming that doctors were warning us of over the first trimester. Needless to say, my partner and I spent most of the first 3 months stressed beyond belief and scared of losing what we both wanted so badly. Everything seems to be going smoothly now, and we are just starting to come down from that fear and enjoy the daily growth of our baby. Flash forward to me finally feeling comfortable enough to tell my M I'm pregnant, as well as the horror story we had been dealing with leading up this announcement. She showed very little interest, picture telling someone it's supposed to be nice weather this weekend. That was the extent of the joy shown. I wasn't overly surprised, since it's typical of her, and did my best to focus on our excitement. Then came her learning of my due date 8 days before her birthday. Suddenly her interest peaked to a flustered reaction, and she made a comment or two about that not being ideal. I brushed it off and changed the subject soon after. About a month later I was in town without my partner and stopped by her house quickly. Almost as soon as I sat down she started in with what I could tell had been on her mind since our last visit/announcement, minus the flustered bit. This time she was ready. This was the convo. M, you know, December really isn't a good month to have a baby. We already have so much going on that month, it's really going to get in the way of things. Me, what things will me having a baby interfere with? M, well, there's Christmas to plan for, and my birthday. Me, so, 2 things then? M, no, it's also the neighbor's birthday and your sister's birthday is the beginning of the next month. I think it's just going to be too hectic with all of that going on. *SIDENOTE*. My half-sister is significantly older than me at 50 years old, and we have never once celebrated her birthday, since she only visits about once a year at best. The neighbor is an 18-year-old boy that has zero affiliation to our family, and M just happens to know his day is December and somehow thought throwing this in helped back her case. Me, okay, well I guess we'll have to find room to squeeze my unborn child in there, because there really isn't much I can do about it. M, ignoring my last remark and continuing with her train of thought. 5-pound babies that arrive early are so much cuter than full-grown ones anyway, because they're so little. Me, given what we've already been through, if anything I'd rather the baby was born a little later than early, so it's fully developed and has the best chance at being healthy. M, having the baby a few weeks early isn't going to make that much difference. Lots of healthy babies come early. Me, gritting my teeth at this point. So are you suggesting I go tell my midwife or a doctor that I need to be induced or have a preterm C-section in November because a grandchild in December really doesn't fit into your hectic schedule? M, seeing my anger rising, it's just something to consider. This exchange sums up my M in a nutshell. At 71 years old, her main concern about the birth of her grandchild is that it will outshine her own special day. Since this exchange I have told several people my due date whose birthdays are also in December, and every reaction from those people has been excitement and comments about how fun sharing birthdays would be, and jokes about the best babies being born in the month of December. You know, sane reactions to happy news. So a little backstory. My GF's sister, RM, came over with her crotch goblin. He is 10 but really entitled. After 5 minutes crotch goblin got bored and demanded that he would be entertained. I gave him a knockoff third-party pro controller and let him use my Switch with Smash Brothers. There is a season pass for this game, but only one character is released, and I don't feel the need to buy the pass yet, as I want to know who else is joining the battle. He came back after 2 minutes. Crotch Goblin. Hey op, I need you to pay 20 euros so I can play on your Switch. Me. Why would I pay you to use my Switch? CG. I can only play as a character you don't have, and that character costs 20 euros is to get. Me. I know about Joker, but I don't see the necessity of owning him yet. So why should I pay for you to use a character that I won't play as? CG. Full tantrum. Because I want to play. If you won't buy him, I will take your Switch. Me. I'll just put the Switch away. I don't think you should use it if you can't handle it. So I put the Switch in its cover and brought it to my bedroom and put it in my closet. I go back downstairs and get greeted by M's yelling, why the F asterisk CK would you tell my son that he can't play anymore? Me. He wants me to pay 20 euros is for him to play. I'm not going to do that. It's only 20 euros and it would make CG so happy. Me. Well then you can pay it. It is your game, why should I pay for your game? That's your responsibility. Me. Yeah, I'm still not going to do that. He is free to play in the yard, we have a ball somewhere. He doesn't want to play in the yard. He wants to play a game on your Nintendo. Give him your Nintendo or we will leave. Me. Alright, let me get your coats. Went into a tantrum as well, and GF told her that she should leave. She left, but not before calling me a man-child, a pedophile and a retard. I haven't seen her since, and my GF told me that she supports me as M has done this before and screams when she doesn't get her way. I know it was only 20 euros and knowing Nintendo it will be worth it. If Banjo-Kazooie is revealed I will buy it without hesitation. But I would never buy something to keep a child from throwing a temper tantrum. This actually happened a couple of weeks ago. I've thought about making an ATA post about this before, but I don't think there is any way I cold bean the asshole. So I'm coming back up from my hometown to my college town for an internship, and I'm flying southwest, which is open seating. So I ended up sitting next to a dad and his little kid, who had to between 7 and 9 and absolutely adorable. So I boot up my Switch and start practicing Smash Ultimate because my friend took me to a tournament and we got pummeled and the kid takes an interest. The kid was watching me play and smiling, but didn't ask because I assume his dad taught him boundaries. But as soon as I noticed, I asked the dad if it was okay for the kid to play with me. He nodded and the little guy lit up on the spot. I share an earbud with him, split up the controllers and we start. It was fun because he liked Captain Falcon and it was cute seeing him run around. About a half an hour goes by and a lady walks up the plane walkway thingy and asks me if her kid can play too. I wasn't paying attention and I'm a big yes man, so I instinctively say sure, of which the tries to grab my Switch. I ask her what she's doing and she gestures down several seats to her own kid, who had to be around 13 and was not so adorable. I'm not exactly sure why they thought my Switch was a charity. I assume it's because I'm black and the kid I was playing with is white. I tell her I'm not comfortable with having it several seats back where I can't watch it. She tries to say they'll be fine, but I wasn't having it. My internship is unpaid, so my school is paying for room and board, but it leaves me with effectively zero expendable income, so my Switch and my laptop are going to my primary source of entertainment. Turns out the summer dorms come with a TV with cable, which is cool too. She tells me it's not fair for the other kids, and if anything happens, I'm sure *my* parents could get it fixed, which actually gets me mad, because I'm rather poor, and saved up for this thing over months of working a minimum wage job at my university. I actually bought it tablet, only in my room it was kind enough to let me borrow his controllers and games as I slowly was able to afford my own stuff, like all my games were bought cartridge. Only on eBay, if not deals elsewhere. In hindsight, I should have just drawn it out. You're not supposed to be in the walkways very long and the flight attendants were definitely taking notice, but at the time I just asked the little kid for my controller back and put my Switch in its case, saying now I'm not comfortable with anyone touching it. Ep smirks at me and goes back to her seat. I look over at the little kid, who was sad and sniffling a bit, but I smile and give him the finger over the mouth shush gesture. So we wait 5 or so minutes until I'm sure Ep was back to her own business, then we get right back to playing. This time it's Kirby, which made me happy because I actually got that game to play with my little C's, but the allies mechanic was too confusing for her, so she didn't like it very much, which sucks cause games are really expensive for me. A good little while passes and the ep walks back up, hails a flight attendant, and says we're being disruptive, which makes no goddamn sense, and I'm sure everyone around thought so too. The lady tells the ep that she doesn't see any problem, and I'm guessing the woman gained some self-awareness because she didn't make any more fuss and went right back to her seat. I didn't hear a peep out of her again, but as we were getting off the plane, the dad showed me a text from his wife saying that I was a real MVP, so that's nice. Family points. If you enjoyed the stories, slap the like and subscribe button for more of them, and don't forget to support the original writers with an upvote. Links are in the description. Peace out, and catch you tomorrow.